TA Show, 732-982-7469. Great way to communicate with us. My personal Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's Twitter feed is at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show. I think it's just popping in now, to be honest with you. You can watch the show on Twitch and on the Facebook page at 97.7 ESPN. You can also watch the show on our YouTube page. Check out the YouTube page, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You can like and subscribe and get notifications there. Just go to 977ESPN.com. You get links to all of that stuff. While you're at it, get the app. You need the app so that you can get links to Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4, all of our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. Tonight we've got the Braves coming off of their win in Arizona yesterday. They are now off to Colorado. We'll have that game tonight after the drive in its entirety from Baumhauer's. Hour number one is wide open. So go ahead and jump on board right now. We have only taken a couple of calls this week. We've been pretty busy this week. We have only taken really a couple of calls, which is typical in a holiday week when you're coming off of a holiday. So if you want to get in, this first hour is a good chance to get in. And you could do that, and we're going to take those calls. Now, a reminder, tomorrow we are at Bubby's Diner on Whitesburg, right off the Parkway. And I am looking for a special Big Dog waffle with a egg over hard on it and bacon jam on it with the sugar-free syrup. I don't know, that's Grizz's buddy over there, Chris. He's a big fan of the show. I don't know if there's been any communication between Grizz and Bubby about it. But that's what I'm looking for. We're going to see if we can get Bubby to come up with that. Am I the only one that would order the BD waffle? The Big Dog waffle? Am I the only one that would order the BD waffle? I mean, does that not sound good to you? A Belgian waffle with a egg over hard and bacon jam on it? Am I the only one that's going for that? Do you have a special morning breakfast deal that you like? I mean, something custom? Do you eat something weird in the morning? I mean, look, I have a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich every single morning. The Junkyard Bag makes me a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich every single morning. The only variant is what is on it. That's it. That's the only variant to the thing. Or not what is on, is what it is on. It is on different kinds of English muffins, multiple English muffin flavors. Sometimes it's an everything muffin. Sometimes it's some other kind of muffin. Sometimes it is on a thin bagel. Sometimes it is on a Greek pita bread. Let's see if Bubby's can come up with the Big Dog waffle. At the top of the 11, Bo Estes from NBA TV and NBA.com. I got to hit a watch now button. I don't know what's going on with our stream, with our video stream. It's doing all kinds of weird-looking things. Okay. I had to click on watch now. Okay. Watch now. Top of the 11, Bo Estes, NBA TV, NBA.com is back. What would a Warriors win do to the legacy of Seth Curry? A fourth title is significant. It's the same as LeBron James. Stephen A. Smith. You know Stephen A. Smith, right? I mean, Stephen A. Smith is a huge Alabama fan.
This is Alabama!
Stephen A. says that he believes that Curry will eclipse LeBron's 4 titles, and that Bron will be stuck on 4 with a 4-4 record in the finals. Steph is 3-2 right now. Of course, it easily could be 3-5 for LeBron and 4-1 for Steph, if not for that epic collapse or comeback. And what year was that? Was that 2016? Grizz knows. He has all these things like committed to memory. I think it was 2016, right? When Bron and the Cavs came back from down 3-1. Was that an epic collapse? Or was that an epic comeback? in any event, does the fact that LeBron did it with 3 different teams while Steph stayed with the Warriors sway things either way? I mean, personally, I would have been much more impressed with LeBron if he had stayed in Cleveland in his entire career and won even just 3 titles than all this bouncing around. I mean, dude seems almost restless. You know what I mean? He can't even decide what number he is. 23, 6, 23. I don't get it. And then handicapper Steve Merrill from Pro Sports Info is in. We'll get his thoughts on the finals. Some baseball and some more. Got to do a little NASCAR with Steve as well. He's a good NASCAR guy. Anybody watched the match last night on TNT? I had completely forgotten about it. And to be honest, I wouldn't have watched any of it had the Yankees not been rained out. So I ended up jumping back and forth between the Rangers-Lightning game and the match. Aaron Rodgers dropping a 15-foot clutch putt on the final hole on the final shot for he and Tom Brady to take the win against Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Brady takes it so serious. He's so serious. He's out there grinding like crazy. Rodgers is the best golfer in the group. He's just walking around, ponytail, happy-go-lucky, knocking in putts. The best part of the whole thing was Charles Barkley on the commentary. I mean, TNT uses him in as much stuff as they can, including hockey. He loves the sport, but he loves golf as well. You know what? He'd be fun on golf, especially in the early rounds. Isn't TNT and CBS have some kind of relationship, right? I think CBS owns TNT or something like that, or they have the same parent company. How cool would it be to have Charles Barkley on the golf coverage on, like, Thursday and Friday or something? That was the best part of the whole deal. And speaking of golf, we'll get into this Dustin Johnson basically torching his career to go play in the Blood Money LIV Tour. Or is it the LIV Tour? Or is it the LIV Tour? I don't know. I mean, there's crazy money being thrown at these guys to go play in that thing and to bolt the PGA Tour. But does DJ really need that money? I mean, I know it's monumental money, but between him and Paulina Gretzky, Wayne's daughter, do you really think they need more money? I mean, they got more money than they and their kids could ever spend. And he's 37 years old. And there's so much weirdness about this whole deal with the Blood Tour, the LIV Tour, the LIV Tour. I mean, they're 54-hole tournaments, no cut, shotgun start. They have an individual aspect to them. It's like a college event. They're 4-man teams, 48 players. The Saudis have pumped like $2 billion from the Saudi government. They've pumped $2 billion into this thing. And who's going to watch it? They don't have a TV deal. Far as I know, they don't have a TV deal in the U.S. They got no TV deal. You got to watch it on YouTube. I think it's going to be on YouTube. They're giving it to YouTube with no rights fees. What are they getting for $2 billion? The Saudis, they're paying for all of this money. There's no advertising money. What? Nobody's going to go to the thing, hardly. It looks like a damn senior tour event with a couple of younger guys sprinkled in. I mean, when you really think about it. I don't get it. Over there in that little glass room, playing the Platters of Matter and the Stacks of Wax and answering the phones and keeping us on the air and probably agreeing with Christian, what's his name? Plesnak, whatever that dude's name is, Pulisic, wondering why more people aren't showing up to see the U.S. men's soccer team play. It's the one and only, Coach Chris.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm gonna jack up on Mountain Dew. That Tom? Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the f*** it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Grizzlicious, how you doing?
Doing just fine. And oh my goodness, 19,000 fans at a 26,000 seat stadium.
And most of them were
fine.
for Morocco.
It's
Half of them were for Morocco. And look, I can explain this in very simple
I saw a lot
terms.
of Captain America shirts out there, okay?
Okay. Christian Pulisic, he cares so much about soccer in the U.S. that he didn't even play here. You know, he goes over there. But let me explain this.
All the good players go overseas.
Can I explain this in simple terms?
Go
Because,
ahead.
you know, this is my job, right? I work in the word factory here. It's my job to explain why their Pulisic was upset. For whatever reason, he says, quote, I'm not super happy with the amount of Americans here. However that works out. I'll be completely honest, he said. 19,512 and a huge number of Morocco fans in a stadium that only holds 26,000 in Cincinnati. Okay, let me explain why, okay? Because we don't like soccer. And, all right? That's it. I mean, what do you want to do? You want to hold a gun to their head and tell them they got to watch? We don't like soccer.
America invented a sport just so they could be good at it and nobody else could be. So, I mean, because nobody is. And that's American football. That's American football.
Real football, yeah, right. We don't like soccer, okay? You can't. I'm very upset. You don't play here. Why don't you put your money where your mouth is, Mr. Pulisic or whatever the hell
he'll play here eventually.
Oh, when he's washed up, when he's done, when he's a bum. Why don't you play here? Why don't you stay and play? Why don't you get all those Americans, the 9 of yous that are good enough to play in the Premier League in Europe, why don't the 10 of you guys play in the U.S. and MLS? Because no one cares here.
You're not wrong.
Good God. And it's just like this. Their numbers were rainbow numbers in support of the LGBTQ Pride Month.
Right.
It's Pride Month.
It's also Alzheimer's Awareness Month as well, so make sure you wear purple.
More people have Alzheimer's than have Pride that are LGBTQ. Look, I don't get it. Why would 95% of the country care that much about something that involves the 5% of the country that are either an L, a G, a B, a T, or a Q? That you have to have a Pride Month and you got to have parades and everything else. When are we going to have S Month? All right, do I have an S Pride? You know what I mean? The S Pride Month. That S stands for straight, Grizz.
Okay. I didn't know where you were going there.
We don't have all them
I didn't
letters.
know where you were going there.
One letter, S, straight. We don't have L.
We have a soccer
G.
month because we don't care. We need to have a soccer month.
We're not a B, we're not a T, we're not a Q. What do we have? Like, do we have a symbol if you're S? If you're S, do you get a symbol? They got the rainbow. Do we get like a symbol for being S? I mean, I don't understand it. And I'm getting bombarded with it. God, you can't listen to the satellite radio. Not that you should. You can't listen to the satellite radio without being pounded. They've got a whole station. Except Sirius XM 104. Celebrating LGBT Pride Month. What? A whole radio station. It only affects 5% of the people in the country. 5%. So if you're wondering why only 19,000 people showed up and half of them were pulling from Morocco, Christian Pulisic, whatever your name is.
Pulisic.
Listen, Pulisic. We just don't care. And by the way, if you make it to like the Final Four of the World Cup, we'll care.
Yeah, we will care.
We'll be into it then.
And see, and that's the thing. Once you're in the World Cup, the U.S. will show out. They will watch the game. They will go to the event. Like, they're going to be there once you're in the World Cup. The issue is, can you even make it out of the group stage that you're in?
Yeah. Because,
it's going to be really difficult at being that 1 and 2. When you got England, Iran, and I forgot the last one that they're in.
Well, and when we have the World Cup here in whatever year it's going to be later on, 2026 or 2030 or whatever day it's coming to the U.S., the stadiums will all be full. But 60% of the people in the stadiums are going to be from those countries. From all the other countries that will come to the U.S. for the World Cup. If you think that there's going to be, every stadium is going to have 60 or 70,000 Americans in there to watch the World Cup games, it's not going to be that way. They're going to be people from all over the world that are going to descend upon America, like they do anyway, because we're the greatest country in the land. Even though we have some awful things that happen in our country, I understand that. But you still have more people fighting to get into the U.S. than any other country. No other country has more people wanting to get into their country than this country, okay? It's just the way it is. Even though there's some awful things that happen, we hate what's going on with the gun violence in schools. Obviously, that's something that's problematic. We have to fix somehow, some way. But still, at the end of the day, more people are trying to get into this country than are trying to get into any other country in the world. They're not like breaking down the border to get into Russia. This country. I'm going to get off on all those tangents. That's what happens when we have an open first hour. I go off on all these tangents. Let me get Brandon in here. Let's slow me down. I met Brandon at my Bubby's, at my first remote I ever did at Bubby's. He showed up with the mullet kid, and that's where I first met that dude. All right, he's up. Brandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. That mullet kid got me in a bunch of trouble.
He's got in trouble, got you in trouble?
He got me in trouble. I used to date a girl that was a manager at Blockbuster back before it closed down.
Yeah.
And when it closed, she called me, and I went up there and bought shoe boxes full of DVDs.
Yeah.
Well, we go vacation the other night, stay at this hotel. They're having movie night by the pool. He took a stack of DVDs with him. Well, some woman comes up to me and starts yelling at me about inappropriate language and her kids, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? And apparently one of the movies had the wrong movie in it. Instead of Star Wars, it had Spaceballs. So he played the movie Spaceballs for all the kids at the pool. And if you're about 13 or 14, and you know how perverted 13 and 14-year-old boys are, that was like a jubilee for them. But the parents did not think it was funny. And he has yet to stop talking about it. Like, he is pulling it up on his phone, quoting lines from it. So my wife is not. She is none too happy.
Well, I mean, look, he's your oldest, right? I mean, 13, 14, this is a rite of passage. This is what you do. I mean, let's just be honest. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest about it. It's like I have grandsons now.
The movie.
Yeah, I don't need, but look, it's like Porky's. It's like, Ridgemont High, it's all of that kind of stuff. It's and whatever they're looking at now it's anime. You know what I mean? Now all the young people, but look, I raised 4 sons. They're all, pretty much good citizens, high achievers. And now I've got, how many grandsons do I have? I think I have 4 grandsons. Yeah, 4 grandsons. And I'm trying to tell my son gets it. He's got 3 sons, so he gets it. We cut them a little slack. And I gotta tell the girl, this is the way it is. Raising a boy is different than raising a girl. You know what I mean? It's just even though in this society now we don't want it to be different, but it is different. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's very different. And when the lady got on me, it was a traveling devout Jehovah's Witnesses group at the hotel, and they're good people. Got nothing against them. I hadn't seen that movie since the snowstorm in '93. So I didn't really remember what was in it. And I watched it, and I couldn't help but sit there and just, laugh and giggle. And then my wife sending me screenshots of my son and his friends saying, are you the a-hole? Are you the a-hole? Like, they've taken it to a different level. Whoever wrote that movie, they were either really hard on drugs or they really understood humor. I hadn't figured it out yet.
It's not like the greatest movie. Not the greatest movie of all time, but,
They made fun of a lot of people in that movie. A lot of them, about 10 or 12 different movies, so bravo to them. But Big Dog Bacon Burger, is that not a thing?
Yeah, well, we're going to find out. The Big Dog Bacon Burger with the bacon jam gravy, gravy, apparently on the menu. We were talking about this yesterday. Now, Grizz, you said that on the new menu, it makes some reference to me for that burger. Now, what is that burger actually called? Does it have a name right now?
The Kimmy's Bacon Jam Burger.
Kimmy's Bacon Jam Burger.
Yes.
Okay. So in Kimmy's Bacon Jam Burger description, it makes a reference to the Big Dog. But what I want is a special breakfast item now. I want a Belgian waffle with an egg over hard with the bacon jam and sugar-free syrup. I want that to be a breakfast item. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if the bacon burger had gone away and this was going to replace it.
No. they've rolled out a breakfast menu now. They've got breakfast now at Bubby's. So they got a new breakfast. That's what we're celebrating.
No, they've had breakfast. They are
just
expanding the menu. Yeah,
they're expanding the breakfast menu.
They're doing a bunch of different stuff. Yeah, there's always the meat and 3, and then you can always get hash brown casserole and eggs and. Well, I mean, I'm talking about their menu in general. In the morning, you can get there's a lot of different stuff that you can get in the morning. You don't have to necessarily get the like sausage or whatever. They got gravy and biscuit. There's a lot of different stuff that they have in the morning. I mean, you can set up a whole plate of what you want.
You can't get a burger in the morning, right? I mean, in the morning,
if you ask, you might be able to. And they got the donut burger. I mean, you might be able to get a donut burger in the morning.
Yeah, that kind of covers both of them. But
I've been taking a look, and me and my fellow coworkers and friends have been fighting this out. And after much debate, we feel like that the first system that was proposed for the expansion, the pod system, is the best system if they're going to do away with divisions, because it's the only way you can keep Auburn and Tennessee as constant opponents for Alabama, yet rotate through the rest of the SEC. The 8-game, the 9-game have the most. Do you like the pods better, or do you like the 8-team or the 9-team? And which one do you actually think they would?
I want a 3-6. I want a 3-6, which is a 9-game schedule. I want 3 regular opponents, and then I want the other 6 to be rotated through, which would take you 4 years to get through everybody. So I like the 3-6, no doubt about it. The question would be who those 3 regulars would be. Now, with Alabama, Auburn, one of the proposals that's out there is Alabama's 3 regular opponents would be Auburn, LSU, and Tennessee. Those would be the 3 regular games for Alabama, and those would be locked in. And then everybody else would be, Auburn would have Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina. I do not like the 1-7. The 1-7 is an 8-game model where you have 1 regular opponent, and then you rotate everybody else, 7 games, rotating amongst everybody else in the conference. It gets you on campuses, I get that, and it gets you through the whole league. But I can't have Alabama, Tennessee every couple of years. Or every 3 years. That has to be every year, in my opinion.
Yeah, so the 3-6 is basically the same as what they call pods.
Yeah, they can call pods, but what the 3-6 is that it would be you'd have these pods of 4, and then you would play everybody in your pod, and then you would play the rotating schedule of the others. But it would still be to determine who goes to the SEC championship game. It would still be the 2 teams in the SEC with the best record. It wouldn't be like you win it wouldn't be 4 4-team divisions. I would not hate, I'll be honest with you, if you went with an 8-game schedule and you gave me 4 4-team divisions, and you had a playoff before the SEC championship game, and that was your 9th division, your 9th SEC game, and the 4 champions played off, and then everybody else was matched up for their 9th game, I wouldn't hate that. But I wouldn't hate that.
I wouldn't hate that either.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. That would sound fantastic.
Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah. And you have your own, you'd have like a playoff. So the last week of the regular season would be the semifinals in the SEC with the 4 division winners, and then you just take the other 12 teams and match them up, and those are their 6 games, and you just play. You 2 plays. The seconds play each other, the thirds play each other. You know what I mean? You can match them up, and they all play, and that's your last weekend of the regular season. Then you got your SEC championship.
I'd be all about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely would love it. I would like it if they would leave the first week for the SEC open for everybody for your out-of-conference opponent.
Yeah.
That way like you talked about, we don't get the Week 13 game against Southeast Ohio State or Austin Peay or whoever.
What I'd like to see the season start with is I'd like to see it start with a little SEC, ACC challenge type thing. Where everybody, because you already have Florida State playing, you already have Carolina and Clemson playing, and Georgia Tech playing. So you already have some of these, and then you match up everybody. I'll have Tennessee play Virginia Tech, have the state schools, North Carolina State play Mississippi State, and North Carolina play Ole Miss. Have Alabama play Miami would be a great annual game, and have those two conferences match up and play. Everybody plays everybody.
Would be really nice. I hope they take some of that into account. When do we expect that vote on the possible schedule?
Today or tomorrow. But it won't go into effect until Oklahoma and Texas come to the conference, which right now it appears that that's going to go to distance, and that won't happen until 2025. There's no hurry because they didn't expand the college football playoff. Originally, when they were talking about them coming in, there was a lot of talk about the college football playoff being expanded, but they didn't expand the playoff. So now, this is the way it's going to be.
Well, it'll be good when it finally happens. And before I go, I saw a thing yesterday about streaming in baseball. It made me think of Grizz with all his Valley Sports problems that he has over there. They're saying that if you got streaming only for your team, the two that I saw were the Yankees and the Red Sox, and it would cost at least $30 a month to have dedicated streaming for all the games for your team. Do you think that'll ever fly?
I think you can get it for cheaper than that right now. I think I pay $9 a month, and I get – well, I'm not sure exactly what I pay.
If I say through no cable service provider, it would just be –
Oh, without a cable service, just the extra innings. But I think you can – well, you don't have to have cable to buy the extra innings package, right, Chris? Can't you get extra innings and pay like $30 a month and get extra innings? I think it's $180 for extra innings. I pay $9 a month for the audio to be able to listen to games on the radio. That's what it is.
Oh, that's old school.
But you know what? It's summertime. I'm out on my boat. I'm cutting grass. I'm doing stuff. And on the weekend, a lot of times, I just drop the Yankee game on my phone and throw it in the boat, or I've dropped or put it in my pocket and cut the grass or whatever.
I think the one issue I have with like getting the TV package or whatever, the MLB TV package or whatever, every time someone plays the Braves, if you're a fan of another team or something like that, it's going to be blacked out. Because for some reason in this area, it's always blacked out. I mean, I always had that issue on DirecTV for a while where I couldn't get the game on ESPN, but I could always get it on Bally Sports or Sports South or whatever. It always seemed like Bally Sports or Sports South always took it away from everybody who lived in this area of the woods that were Braves fans.
That's the part I don't understand.
Yeah, no, I got a buddy that has the Brewers, and every time they play the Braves, you cannot watch it. It is blacked out on both channels.
Both sides. That's what I don't understand is how you pay for a service.
Yeah.
You're paying for it, and yet you get blacked out of the game that you care about the most.
I get the Braves. I'll get the Braves sometimes on MLB Network, and from YouTube TV, blacked out.
That's what I'm saying.
And I hate it.
It's always blacked out, and then you can't, and there's no, and because it's exclusive, it's no place else you can watch it.
Yeah.
Even if you're paying for it. Bad. Brandon, are we going to see you tomorrow at all or no? No, not making a run tomorrow. The Bubbies?
I'm not in search of football equipment that I could not get in state because of COVID now. That day may come, so I may see you a little later in the fall. The search for a double-decker pontoon boat is currently on. I'm sitting here in the parking lot at Buc-ee's in Calhoun, Georgia, and there's actually a guy that's got one, and I'm debating on whether to walk up to him cold and see what he wants for his boat.
Yeah, the double-decker part of that is the hard part of that, going with the double-decker part. Don't forget, if you got a guy, if you got a hookup for me for the tickets for the Browns and the Falcons, don't forget to, work on that for me.
I have called 3 people about those tickets so far.
Yeah.
And they are waiting to find out if Deshaun Watson is or is not going to play before they want to do anything with him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it becomes a different thing if he's playing, huh?
Apparently to them, what they think they can get for the tickets does.
Yeah,
That's the holdup is. Yeah. I think he's going to be suspended. I'm trying to think, if he got a 6-game suspension, will it go that far? Will it cover that game?
I'm not sure which game it is. I know it's in the first half of the season, but I don't know. I don't know what the hell is going to happen now with that. Now they've got 2 more cases, and it is. On one hand, it's really hard to think that you could get 24 people together and then have anybody break from that. The attorney, Tony Busby, that's handling that for them is kind of keeping those people together. You'd think that somebody would break from it, But it's so confusing, and we'll see what the league is going to do. We just don't know. Hopefully, though, they'll make that decision sooner than later, so the Browns can decide what the hell they're going to do.
Yeah, they definitely need to decide something, because going through all that camp and all that training, and then throw somebody out there that's not ready to go. Did they ever finalize that deal with Baker Mayfield where they were wanting the other team was wanting them to pay like 13 or 14
Yeah,
million
no, that's why that
contract?
deal didn't go through, and they won't cut him. And the reason that deal didn't go through is because October 2nd, by the way, is that game, so it's like the fourth game of the season. So yeah, he's not.
Oh, it would get him.
He's not going to be playing. I don't think he's playing October 2nd. It's the fourth game of the season. He's not playing October 2nd. That's why I was stunned that they put the Browns and the Steelers on primetime and on the third game of the season. And I was thinking, why would they do that if Jacoby Brissett is going to be the quarterback? Yeah, you wouldn't think that they would do that, but that's what they did.
Well,
all right, man.
I guess we'll see if they'll flex that one out of prime time if Brissett's the quarterback.
Well, they don't flex it. Yeah, they don't flex until the second half of the season, so they're not going to flex it there. So.
Oh, lesson learned then. All right,
man.
Gentlemen, roll tide. Have a great day.
All right, appreciate you. Let me get a break in here. David, you stay put. You are up next when we return. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
NBA Game 1 of the Finals will be tonight in San Francisco. Golden State hosting the Boston Celtics. The Warriors a 4-point home favorite at the Chase Center, -168 on the money line. Boston is at +142. The over-under is sitting at 212.5. Golden State is the favorite to win the series at -160. Boston at +135. Steph Curry, the favorite to win the Finals MVP, an award he has never won, -115. Jason Tatum of the Celtics, +175. Jaylen Brown of Boston is +1100. For vsin.com, I'm Tony Desiri, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked the reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Scattered showers and thunderstorms through a good chunk of the afternoon. That activity should continue as we head into the evening. Some of those thunderstorms could pack a bit of a punch, some heavy rain, gusty winds, maybe even a little bit of small hail thrown into the mix. That activity associated with a cold front, that is going to drop our temperatures as we head into the final day of the work week. Partly sunny sky for your Friday afternoon. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 70s and lower 80s, dropping into the upper 50s, lower 60s as we head into the overnight, early into your Saturday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by TOC. The Orthopedic Center is there for all your injury needs, no matter how you got hurt. It's TOC. They can do a great job for therapy as well as, of course, surgeries, and they got specialists for every body part that you have. If your doctor says you need to see an orthopedic, what you need to do is you need to tell them, look, I want to see the guys at TOC. They're probably referring you there anyway. But if not, you just ask for it, and they will refer you there, and then you'll be good to go. All right, phone lines are open. David, come back, and you can be up. It's 256-576-4977, 256-576-4977. I do not buy the scheduling argument, and you know I love Conor O'Gara. Love having him on the show. He talked about the 3-6 and the 1-7 model yesterday, the 3-6 being 3 permanent matchups and 6 rotating home and homes, while the 1-7 model is 1 permanent matchup and 7 rotating home and homes, which means you are going to lose certain matchups. Auburn would only play Georgia every 3 years. Alabama would only play Tennessee every 3 years. Texas would only play Texas A&M every 3 years, unless they booked it as a non-conference game, like what North Carolina and Wake Forest did last year. Remember North Carolina and Wake Forest? They played a non-conference game because they want to play every year. So that's what they did in that scheduling model. But I don't like that one as much. And I don't buy the argument that that it makes it much more difficult to get to the playoff in a 4-game playoff, much more difficult to get to a playoff with a 9-game conference schedule. I think it's skewed because the conference that is playing the 8-game conference schedule, the 2 conferences that play the 8-game conference schedule really are, the SEC and the ACC. And the ACC has been dominated for the last 7 or 8 years by Clemson. So that skews that. I think whether Clemson played 8 conference games in the ACC or added 1 more conference game in the ACC, Clemson is still going to all of those championship games. And it's skewed in the SEC as well. Because when LSU got there in 2019, that team was so great that LSU would have gone 9-0 in the conference instead of 8-0 in the conference. And all of those Alabama teams that have been going to the championship game, you can't tell me that adding an SEC game would have necessarily knocked Alabama out because they played Vanderbilt or South Carolina or Missouri or somebody else in the conference. Could have been one of the better teams in the conference. But that they played that team instead of playing Western Kentucky or Eastern Michigan or Northern Timbuktu. I don't think that you look at that and say, wow, they beat those three Sisters of the Poor. So that'll get them in. And look, everybody is kind of adding another Power 5 non-conference game anyway, in many cases, in years to come. So what would be the difference between playing that game or playing a 9-game conference schedule? Play your conference. If your conference is tough, your conference is tough. Play your conference schedule. And to look at the numbers and say, well, 15 of the 16, playoff era teams, excluding 2020, played a 8-game conference schedule, as opposed to the Power 5 conferences that play a 9-game conference schedule. The problem with that is that the Pac-12 and the Big 12 play a 9-game conference schedule, and now the Big 10 does. But in the case of the Pac-12 and the Big 12 not getting to the playoff or not getting to the championship game, I don't think it's because they have 9 conference games. It's because they suck. I think that was the issue. Not because of the 9 conference games. 256-576-4977. The East and West is done. I would be stunned if they come out of this meeting and say they're going to stay with an East and a West. And Texas and Oklahoma are going to the West, and either Alabama or Auburn would be going to the East. Now, geographically, it should be Auburn, right? It should be Auburn that would go to the East, geographically. But realistically, when you look at, the power structure right now anyway, and again, these things are so fluid. But right now, when you look at a power structure, you'd have Florida, Georgia, Auburn, and Tennessee in the East, while you would have you'd have Alabama, LSU, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. The West would continue to be a hammer, while you would be adding Auburn to the East. I mean, Auburn and Tennessee are the same people right now, right? I mean, Auburn's had some more recent success, but Auburn and Tennessee are basically the same people. Two programs that have some great heritage that are down. Just be honest. And Florida is somewhere between where Georgia is right now and Tennessee. So saying, hey, we got to move Alabama to the East just to give, Florida and sometimes, or Georgia and sometimes Florida some competition, I think that's short-sighted. But in any event, that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. We're either getting 4 divisions, which could look a number of different ways. And then how does the 4 divisions affect the pod? If the four divisions are not necessarily related to the pod scheduling system. So why do you need 4 divisions? If you have a division that has Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt, and a division that has LSU, Auburn, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State, and then you have Florida, Georgia, Missouri, and South Carolina, and in Texas, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Arkansas, why, are you just playing the people in your division then and then rotating the other 6? No, of course not. Because Alabama and Auburn have to play. Why in the hell would Missouri be in the East in Auburn? Well, I see why Auburn would be in the South, I guess. Anyway, I don't think that's happening. I just think there's going to be a 16-team conference, and you're going to have 3 regular opponents, and you're going to rotate the rest. I think that's the way it's going to go down, personally. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, we will set you up for hour number 2. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Atlanta Braves are back on the field, and this reloaded roster is fired up to defend their crown and run it back in 2022.
Pitch on the way to Ozzie. Hit it out towards right field. This is back there towards the wall. Sailing back, and this one is out of the ballpark.
Tonight, the Braves' road trip out west continues as Marcell Ozuna and the Braves roll into Coors Field in Denver to take on the Colorado Rockies. Braves radio's on the air at 7:25 Eastern, 6:25 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Outdoor season is coming. Can't wait.
Here at Brooks & Collier, neither can we. Outdoor season is also grilling season.
And we have plenty of grills and smokers in stock. From Traeger, Blaze, and Big Green Egg.
There's the greenhouse. New indoor items and home furnishings as well.
Whatever it takes. Browse over 2 acres of furnishings. Can't wait.
How about you? North Alabama's indoor and outdoor living headquarters for over 75 years.
813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
In 1982, Bob Baumhauer introduced Alabama to the Buffalo Wild Wing, and quite frankly, we've never been the same. Back then, it was Wings and Things in Tuscaloosa, but now, 40 years later, after 4 name changes, Baumhauer's Victory Grill is the #1 sports-themed restaurant in the state. Bob's Alabama Hot Chicken is something that has to be tried to believe, plus the new Bam Bam Chicken and the Louisiana-style Go Fish, a whitefish over rice topped with shrimp etouffee. And Baumhauer's is fighting inflation with some new affordable favorites. Visit Baumhauer's on the South Parkway today.
T-minus 3, 2, 1, flat. Trash Panda Nation, ignite the fun, let's rock it.
The Trash Pandas are back at Toyota Field on Tuesday, June 7th against the Mississippi Braves. The week's promotions include a Sprocket bobblehead giveaway on Tuesday, a Trash Pandas beach towel giveaway on Wednesday, and a military t-shirt giveaway on Sunday. Get your tickets for all the fun now at TrashPandasBaseball.com. Trash Pandas Baseball. Have a blast.
Let's rock it.
Having a choice is awesome because even if you choose something bad, you can just switch to something else. Like switching from bad internet to good internet from WOW. Internet 100 has it all. It's extra reliable, super fast, and just $24.99 a month. Plus, learn how to get a year of HBO Max included and $300 on us when you visit Wowway.com. Wow, good internet. Limited to new internet customers with autopay and paperless billing. Subject to change. Terms apply.
The only thing better than Football Friday in the Doghouse is Football Friday on location at Bubby's Diner. That's right. We'll be out at Bubby's from 10 till noon. Well, honestly, I'll be there a little bit earlier than that because I'm going to try and get them to do a special waffle for me. That's right. One with an egg over hard and some of that bacon jam on it. And, of course, I got to have the sugar-free syrup as well. Come on out and join me 10 to noon on Friday at Bubby's Diner on Whitesburg Drive, right off the South Parkway.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Scattered showers and thunderstorms through a good chunk of the afternoon. That activity should continue as we head into the evening. Some of those thunderstorms could pack a bit of a punch, some heavy rain, gusty winds, maybe even a little bit of small hail thrown into the mix. That activity associated with a cold front, that is going to drop our temperatures as we head into the final day of the work week. Partly sunny sky for your Friday afternoon. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 70s and lower 80s, dropping into the upper 50s, lower 60s as we head into the overnight, early into your Saturday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Throwback Thursday here in the Doghouse. Glad that you are with us. Valley Equipment, they have everything you need to get the job done like a pro. I think I said in my commentary for today in Unleashed for Valley Equipment, if Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban really want to bury the hatchet, what they need to do is go get an excavator from Valley Equipment because they got more excavators than anybody else in the Tennessee Valley. They really do. And you got to check out their new location out on North Parkway at Valley North, and oh boy, up there they got the dozers, they got bigger excavators, they've got everything that you need, in between the two locations. They'll deliver to you. Like if you need something, they'll pull it out of one location or the other. But between the mini X's and the big excavators and the lifts and the skid steers, they just have more stuff to get the job done right than anybody out there. And again, it's not just about the contractors. It's about you who are trying to get that job done at your place, and you need an auger, or you need to use whatever it is, that piece of equipment. You need a what we used to call a steam jetting, a power washer type of deal. They've got it for you at Valley Equipment, so check those guys out. It's not going to matter what Jimbo Fisher says. I'm going to tell you that from now going forward, it's not going to. Jimbo Fisher, according to Brian Kelly, he said that Nick Saban addressed the coaches in the meeting in Destin and apologized to the room for calling out Texas A&M individually in his comments last month. He apologized. Okay? Yet Tim Brando, friend of the show, like Timmy, but Timmy B, he's out there tweeting about how this is a missed opportunity for Saban to show some humility and to admit that he's wrong, because Saban could never admit that he was wrong. He has apologized at least 3 times. At least 3 times publicly has apologized. The day after he said it, at the Regions tournament down there, the golf tournament, the Pro-Am, he said it. He said it in Destin. And Brian Kelly says, to the most important people, all the other coaches, he apologized. And apologized to the coaches for shining a bad light on them, on the league. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Paul Feinbaum says that Nick Saban treated Jimbo Fisher like a fly on the potato salad at the Memorial Day picnic. Just shoo him away. Except for he apologized. And Jimbo said, look, you ever argue with your brother? Do you love your brother? Do you support your brother? That's how coaches are. What is Jimbo saying right there? He's saying right there, he was arguing with his brother. Do you love your brother? Do you support your brother? He tried to put it to bed 15 times, he said. It's over. It's over. This is never going to be over. Ever. Coming up next, Bo Estes, NBA TV, NBA.com, setting up the NBA Finals on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
Good morning, I'm Doug Brown. Game 1 of the NBA Finals tonight in San Francisco. This will be the first playoff meeting for these teams since the 1964 Finals. That series won by Boston in 5 games. Coverage of tonight's Game 1, Warriors and Celtics, starts at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ABC TV. Gonzaga junior Drew Timme withdraws from the NBA draft and says he'll be back with the Bulldogs next season. Timme is a 2-time All-American. He averaged 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists in his junior year. At the French Open today in the women's semifinals, the 34th straight match win for world number 1 Iga Swiatek. She beats Daria Kasatkina in straight sets. American Coco Gauff just underway in her semifinal against Martina Trevisan.
Bring that playoff intensity every day to our shows.
Bring it on, Chops. Let's go.
Okay, maybe just for Drew DeArmond. Me. Listen for Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew. Weekday mornings starting at 7 on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves are in Denver tonight facing the Colorado Rockies at Coors Field. Ann Anderson getting the start for the Braves, going up against Oster Gomer. The Braves are minus a run and a half, minus 102 on the run line, while the Rockies are minus 118. On the money line, Atlanta minus 148. Colorado is at plus 126. The over-under is at 11. PGA Tour, today is round 1 of the Memorial Tournament in Dublin, Ohio. John Rahm, who had the lead last year but had to withdraw due to COVID, is the favorite at plus 1,000. Rory McIlroy at plus 1,100. For vsin.com, I'm Tony Desiri, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog,
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing.
Local sports is covered right here.
Well, appreciate what you guys do for sports, but also for high school sports and taking time to talk to us. That means a lot, and appreciate what you guys do, and appreciate you having us on.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog,
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. Glad that you are with us. And, boy, I'll tell you, we've got a lot of stuff to get to. But let me just tell you a little bit about North Alabama Mortgage. Because North Alabama Mortgage, this is a very, very – these are competitive times. How many times have you looked at a house, if you're in a house buying business, and you looked at a house and you were unable to even get your offer in time? I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's very competitive. North Alabama Mortgage can help you get your offer accepted. I mean, that's part of the deal there. They're going to help you get your offer accepted. You need to go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more about that. Plus, the rates have been going up. They've been steadily kind of climbing a little bit. You want to lock in a good rate on a refi, this would be a great time to do it. Get that refi locked in, and then you can go ahead and use that money for, whatever it is that you got. You got work you want to do on a property, those types of things. They can help you get it done. It is absolutely tremendous. All right. Right now we are efforting Bo Estes, and he is scheduled to join us from NBA TV and NBA.com. Grizz still not having any luck with old Bo?
No luck. Still trying.
Ever since he moved over there to California, it's been a little bit different, for him. It's 9 a.m. there. So
he's probably not even awake.
Well, you would hope he would be. 9 a.m. is the middle of the day.
It is the finals day.
Yeah. It's kind of like the middle of the day. I just checked my text to make sure I didn't tell him a different time, and no, I had told him, and he had given me a thumbs up. 11 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Pacific time. But we'll continue to work on that. Been talking, too, about the meetings that are going on in Destin and what's coming out of there, and the fact that it really doesn't matter whatever Jimbo says going forward. Because what he said in that 7-minute tirade when he had that press conference the day after Nick Saban claimed that Texas A&M had bought their entire class, that will live on forever. That lives on forever.
There was a Bible verse. There was something his daddy said. There was a lot of stuff in that short time. Oh, there was some nastiness in there. But then he says, do you ever argue with your brother? Do you love your brother? Do you support your brother? That's what it sounded like. It did kind of come off that way as a couple of, it was too personal to be just two coaches that didn't have a very close relationship. It was like ripping the Band-Aid off. And look, there hasn't been any talk about any looking into Nick Saban's past or all of those things that he's talked to the other coaches haven't come out and talked about it. Oh, yeah, when I was there, I had this, and when I was there, Nick did that. We haven't seen any of that. We're not seeing any of that stuff. All right, NBA Finals get started tonight. This is about as good a matchup as we could have, right, Grizz, as far as it being for interest sake. You got East Coast, West Coast. You got California, Massachusetts. You got Boston, and you got Golden State. You got superstars on both sides of this deal. This is probably, outside of LeBron and the Lakers, this is probably the best match we could have. And I dare say that there's been LeBron fatigued in as much as that the ratings are up. Yeah. A lot of people thought, LeBron not in the playoffs, the ratings will tank. The ratings are up. And so this has been a good playoff and has a chance to be a really good series. Yeah, and I guess people really have nothing to talk about it because there's the finals going on, and I actually saw Bo tweet out last night something that was like, it must be, not a whole lot to talk about when literally one of the segments yesterday on ESPN was all about will LeBron James win the MVP before he before he retires and all this other stuff, and it's just like, is there nothing better to talk about? How about we talk about that Steph Curry, is now in his 6th appearance. He could have more titles and a better record than LeBron James.
Well, they are talking about that.
Yeah, well,
Stephen A. Smith said, I believe that Steph Curry will eclipse LeBron James and capture 5 championships in his career while LeBron is stuck on 4.
I can see that.
That's a big part of this conversation. Think about how close it became to Steph having 4-1, being 4-1 in the finals,
right?
And LeBron 3-5. He could be past him now. But, what Stephen A. is saying is that not only is they going to win this one, he thinks they're going to win 2 out of the next 3. That nucleus staying together is going to get another one, which would be a 5th for Steph. And when you look at that being, it would be 2 without Durant and 2 with Durant. Does that sound right?
Yes. If they win, this year.
That's significant. This is Kobe winning without Shaq.
And Draymond has said it before. They probably could win it without KD, but KD is the best scorer in the NBA, if not ever. He's one of the greatest scorers we've probably ever seen as a basketball player. But
you think he wishes he was still in Golden State?
Without a doubt.
What the hell did he go to Brooklyn for in the first place? I don't even know why he left Golden State.
Yeah, because a lot of people thought that, like, could he go to the Wizards? Because, you know, he is from that area. So I think that was another thing, too, that, like, that was the reason why, like, maybe he's going back East Coast to be closer to his, you know, his house or, like, where he lives and where he's from. And I think one, it was he wanted to get away from joining the super teams, even though he was the one that always complained about, you know, everybody else doing it. Then when he finally joined a super team, he finally won. And then now he's away. Enough people, because he's always the kind of person that bashes, you know, will go back and forth with somebody on Twitter. He wanted to go away because he wanted to be able to prove that he could go to another place.
How's that working out for him?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you never first of all, Kyrie Irving can never be really good unless he's playing with LeBron, apparently, or at least sane anyway. Because I mean, Kyrie Irving is absolutely nutso, and I never would have thought that was ever going to be a good thing. James Harden has never, ever, ever, ever been a good thing to play next to, other than when he was the sixth man of the year. I mean, it's just
win with James Harden.
You really can't, because really he doesn't have. He just doesn't have the drive. I mean, once he gets down to those, you know, nice cities with the nice clubs and everything like that, he just sits back, and especially you could tell, especially in Philly. But I'm just so excited for this series because one, it's good to see Boston back, because that's a historic franchise. I talked about it yesterday. A storied franchise back in the title game. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, two great players. And another thing about these teams, Tom, that I really love about these teams is they're not bought teams. These teams were built. These teams were drafted. You didn't have to go out and get a big three.
That's what I respect about Steph. I don't really like Steph that much because him chewing on that mouthpiece, it just annoys the hell out of me. The look on his face.
I'll never understand wearing a mouthpiece in basketball anyway.
I do. I mean, there's a lot of contact. I mean, it's going to stop from having a concussion.
You're rich. You can get your teeth fixed.
Well, it's not about getting your teeth fixed. It's getting your brain scrambled. You know, a mouthpiece is for your concussion purposes.
Yeah, the tongue. You don't bite the tongue.
No, concussion purposes. Yeah. You're trying to you want to keep your jaw from, you know, like you take a shot in the chin. And you get.
I guess I just like playing rough basketball. Then I guess I like getting physical.
The point is that it's never in his mouth.
Yeah,
it's always out of his mouth.
I mean, how many football players do the same thing?
It's like
before they snap the ball, they're chewing on it, or they don't even have it in their mouth. It's like sitting in their helmet.
Yeah, well, I don't like it. But having said that, you know, I think I would like. I don't really have a dog in the fight at all.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably be pulling night to night on wherever my jingling is. And I'll be honest with you, I'm on the Celtics tonight plus 3.5. I tweeted it out yesterday. I'm on the Celtics tonight plus 3.5. I don't like the Celtics very much. You know, being a born and bred Knicks fan, I don't like the Celtics very much. And but I'm not a big fan of these guys either, of the Warriors either. So I don't know which one, you know, is a bigger deal for me. But Steph Curry winning his fourth title and being 4-2 in the finals. I mean, we got to start looking at him a little bit different. If it were to happen that way, now we got to look at Steph Curry a little bit differently. I think he now is entering, you know, there was always a conversation whether or not he was even top 10. But now we have to start thinking about whether or not Steph Curry would be top 5 or top 6 or something like that. And we just haven't seen it in the past with smaller players. You know, when you talk about the great players, usually you're talking about big men. You're not talking about the smaller guys. So I think that's, you know, part of that argument.
Yeah, but the evolution of the game, though, too, when you look at it, guys like Curry, and, you know, I talked to Bailey about this, too, who's in the studio with me learning a little bit. You know, we talked, like, when we talk about generational players.
Talking about Cream?
No, I'm talking
about Bailey's Irish Cream?
Cream's right here.
You talking about Cream over there?
Yeah.
I see Cream in the corner.
But I was just saying, when we talk about players that change the game, right? Steph Curry has been a guy that changes the game because that's how the game is played nowadays. And the thing is like the big man. The thing about the big man is it's not so obsolete because you've got Giannis and some others like Embiid and stuff like that can still do all these types of things. But it just seems like the way that teams want to go small ball, that's where, you know, it's like Steph Curry benefits, Draymond Green being, you know, like a smaller power forward center type player. And then what I love about this series, and the reason why I'll take the Golden State Warriors in this series, is because of Klay Thompson being 900 days away from basketball and then literally playing as well as he's playing to get the team to where they're at.
Yeah, I think that's I think Klay Thompson being back was
Wiggins
a huge
is a huge. I mean, this was
is now becoming what we thought
first
Wiggins
round
would be.
Was number 1 overall draft pick, whatever. Wiggins was the guy that, I mean, they compared to being the next face of the NBA and all this other stuff, and to be a role player. Gary Payton II is going to be playing tonight. I mean, there's so Jonathan Kuminga. There's so many great players that they have that they didn't pay for, or maybe Wiggins, but it's like they didn't go after studs and stars to help them. Jordan Poole was in the G League last year, and this guy's scoring 30 a night in the playoffs. So I mean, it's gonna be a huge game, and I love Boston because I love seeing Jason Tatum finally become that star player, that star NBA player, finally gets to the finals. Jaylen Brown's one of those players too as well that. These were all Danny Ainge's type players that everyone's always, team, being a coach and all this other stuff. Well, I mean, he's obviously a great president or, a great CEO and everything like that when it comes to, doing the grunt work of finding players. So,
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is once he gave it to Brad Stevens. And now that they've gone in a different direction, I just love what they've done with this team.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a good series. I think it'll be a fun series for sure. All right, I was hoping to talk to Bo Estes about it. We'll see what happens, but I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll jump ahead a little bit. We'll take a break, and when we come back, Steve Merrill will join us from Pro Sports Info. We got some stuff to get into with him as well. Phone lines will be open again at 256-576-4977. You can text the show at 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
NBA Game 1 of the Finals will be tonight in San Francisco. Golden State hosting the Boston Celtics. The Warriors a 4-point home favorite at the Chase Center, minus 168 on the money line. Boston is at plus 142. The over-under is sitting at 212.5. Golden State is the favorite to win the series at minus 160. Boston at plus 135. Steph Curry, the favorite to win the Finals MVP, an award he has never won, minus 115. Jason Tatum of the Celtics, plus 175. Jaylen Brown of Boston is plus 1,100. For vsin.com, I'm Tony Desiri, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
T-minus 3, 2, 1, blast. Trash Panda Nation, ignite the fun, let's rock it.
The Trash Pandas are back at Toyota Field on Tuesday, June 7th against the Mississippi Braves. The week's promotions include a Sprocket bobblehead giveaway on Tuesday, a Trash Pandas beach towel giveaway on Wednesday, and a military t-shirt giveaway on Sunday. Get your tickets for all the fun now at TrashPandasBaseball.com. Trash Pandas Baseball. Have a blast.
Let's rock it.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family-owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Of all the multitudinous manifestations that water can take, in oceans and ice cubes, in glaciers and streams, vapors and rain, double black diamonds, lap swims, and brains. Of all that water everywhere, only 0.5% is fresh water available for human use. That's why at Moen, we're innovating to save 1 trillion gallons of water by 2030. Discover Mission Moen at moen.com.
Hey, I'm Ariana. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Spicy Southwest salad is when I take a bite, it's like, wow. I'm getting a punch from the roasted corn. I'm getting a kick from the spicy chicken. It's just great.
Hi, this is Tori. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Cobb salad is the avocado lime dressing. It adds to the chicken, the bacon, and the roasted corn. It takes the salad to a whole nother level.
Order a salad for delivery on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Call 256-713-0575.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Scattered showers and thunderstorms through a good chunk of the afternoon. That activity should continue as we head into the evening. Some of those thunderstorms could pack a bit of a punch, some heavy rain, gusty winds, maybe even a little bit of small hail thrown into the mix. That activity associated with a cold front, that is going to drop our temperatures as we head into the final day of the work week. Partly sunny sky for your Friday afternoon. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 70s and lower 80s, dropping into the upper 50s, lower 60s as we head into the overnight, early into your Saturday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We cover all the SEC schools, including Western Union and Venmo.
I want that money!
You know, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got to be one of the all-time great series in the history of the world. The whole Law and Order series, they were all great. 3 more renewed for the upcoming year as well. Segment of the show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. Woody Anderson Ford, boy, I'll tell you what, second to none with that service department. And you don't have to have a Ford to have service at Woody Anderson Ford. When you go in there, you'll be amazed by the service lanes. And the crew is just incredible. It's just so knowledgeable. They do such a wonderful job there at Woody Anderson Ford. And take a look around a lot. Take a look at the new showroom. Look at those F-150s. Look at those Mustangs. I mean, they're just absolutely spectacular at Woody Anderson Ford, so you can check that out there as well. By the way, the text line is open. You want to go ahead and use that, you can do it, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. Reminder, we'll be at Bubby's tomorrow from 10 until noon. I got to be honest with you, I'll be there closer to 9 probably. Bubby's from 10 until noon, broadcasting live. And tomorrow on deals, zone deals, you'll be, do the math, okay? 5 $10 certificates for $25. I got to tell you, Cream is in studio running the show right now, and I'm looking at him through the glass window. He looks like a skinny intern John. That's what he looks like right now. From looking at him through the window, if I didn't know that was Cream, I would say that's Captain Cool a little bit. I'm just telling you, Grizz. That's what it looks like. He's got a little bit of a okay, maybe not, but you know.
Wait, a young intern John.
You do no, a skinny intern John, maybe. Yeah, I guess a skinnier intern John. All right, you got that from here. That's what I'm saying. If you get into the weight room a little bit, you probably can yoke up a little bit and look even more like you look like a blue-eyed intern John. That's what you look like.
Hey, I will say I have been trying to get to the gym lately. I just haven't been.
Really?
I just haven't had have the time to.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the hell you got to.
Hey,
you don't have the time to.
Maybe John.
What
can
else are
encourage
you
me to get to the
doing?
gym.
What do you mean you don't have the time to?
I got school.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. That's right. You're finishing up yet.
It's 2 classes, but they're important.
Yes, they are. It'd be nice to, you're on a 9-year plan to graduate, so get graduated for God's sakes. All right, joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, Steve Merrill, ProSportsInfo.com. Steve, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, Tom, doing well.
Talk to me about this this NBA final now that we've got that gets started tonight. Celtics getting 3.5 on the road to get things going here. A lot of history on the line. You got one team in the Warriors that are in their 6th finals in the last 8 years. Steph Curry going for that 4th championship that would tie him with LeBron James. And then you got the Boston Celtics looking to break the tie with the Lakers at 17 NBA championships and a team that plays lockdown defense. It's kind of a classic, offense against defense type of matchup, isn't it?
Yeah, and the total has actually risen a couple points from the opener, several points actually. We saw it as low as 210.5 a couple days ago. It's now up to 213.5. I'm even seeing some 214s out there. I don't really necessarily agree. I'm in no hurry to jump on the over in Game 1. Both teams are really rested. As you mentioned, Boston can play some defense, but Golden State can as well. Everyone thinks of them as the 3-point shooting team with Curry and Thompson, but if you look at what they did in the playoffs so far, they've held except for the Dallas series. They struggled defensively in that series, and we did see 3 out of the last 4 go over. But the Memphis series, they really clamped down on defense, and I think that might be more of what we see here. Boston has obviously been doing that recently, and in fact, they held Miami to 42% or lower in 3 of the final 4 games of that series. I think 3-point shooting is going to be the key once again. I said that in the Golden State-Dallas game. If you could give me the 3-point margins ahead of time, I'd feel pretty good about picking the point spread winners. Both teams take a lot of threes. We talk about Golden State, but Boston takes just as many. The difference here, at least from the odds makers' perspective, is home court. Golden State's about a 3.5-point favorite, $1.60 favorite to win Game 1, and the series price is about $1.50. So it's actually less than the overall Game 1 price, which is saying this is a pretty even series and should go 6 or 7 games.
Well, when you look at the Warriors, I think to win it are minus 160. The Celtics plus 130 to win it. That's about as close as it gets, isn't it? I mean, that's pretty close money.
Very close. And just a couple days ago, I'm looking at 15, 20 different sports books. The consensus line for Game 1, the money line at minus 3.5 was about minus 160, minus 165. Now it's gone up a bit. The series price is about minus 160, but it's actually dropped now in many locations. So we have a situation where the point spread and the Game 1 money line has risen a bit from 3.5 now to 4 in some spots. Yet the overall series price the last couple of days has dropped from like the 160 down to the 155, 150 range. So I thought that was a little bit strange. Golden State is actually looking like a fairly public play here in Game 1 tonight.
Yeah.
Yet there's been a little bit of money coming on the Celtics. So one bet you could look at if you think that's the way it's going to play out is I saw one offering that Boston loses Game 1 but wins the series. So you get a 4-1 return on that.
Really? And you could see that happening because that is there a trend though in Game 1s? I mean, in hockey, you got a great opportunity in Game 1, the road team to go in and steal one. I mean, that's always been the way in hockey. That's been a good trend. Did not happen last night in the Eastern Conference Final with the Rangers blowing out the Lightning. But a lot of times that's where you can go out and snag one. Is there a trend towards the home team or the road team? And in these deals, because it feels like the pressure really is on the Warriors as the favorite here.
Yeah, I think in hockey that's an angle that's been great for decades is those Game 1 road teams. I've always felt like home ice, home arena advantage is worth less in hockey than any other sport because, in baseball, obviously, you get the bat in the bottom of the ninth. That's a strategical edge. Basketball and football as well, I think the crowd does somewhat influence the officials a little bit more, but in hockey, not as much. With that said, though, NBA Finals home teams are only 26-20 straight up over the past several years. So there's been actually less home court value in the NBA Finals than any other round the last few years in the NBA playoffs. And I think one of the reasons is because you normally get 2 Class A teams here. And this is one of the few times we don't have a 70-win team in the finals, but that's extremely misleading because 65 and 63-win teams here that were shorthanded for a good amount of the season. In fact, Boston's only the fourth team in the past 50-plus years to make the finals after being below 500 halfway through the season at the 41-game mark. So these are the two teams that are much better than their overall records. I think it's a very even matchup, and both teams are rested. You know, if Boston only had a day or so to get across the country and Golden State was 5 or 6 days off, I think it'd be a bigger edge. But Boston has 3 days rest. Golden State has almost 6. And I think it's kind of a wash. I do think one of the reasons the public is jumping on the Warriors here is because they've been off a little longer. They closed their series faster against Dallas. And the main reason is, you know, quote unquote, playoff or finals experience with Curry and Thompson and company and Draymond Green. But Boston's battle tested. You know, they had to come back 2 down against Milwaukee. They just beat the 1 seed in the Heat. I think it's an even matchup.
You know, I use the MGM app, which is, usable in Tennessee, and they're constantly pounding you with in-game stuff as you go. And, I'm ahead and doing okay, but they're constantly hitting you with, do this in-game, do that in-game. You have to be careful with some of that stuff because it seems like some of those are sucker bets, and the more you do, it's like they're just eventually they're going to get their money back type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's like in a casino, right? You're better off playing certain bets on the craps table than others. You're better off playing certain table games than others, and that's because the house edge is bigger. You know, for example, if you play craps or roulette correctly, the house edge is like 1%, which means every $100 you should only lose $1. Roulette, if you play normal, is a 5% house edge. Keno is like a 50% house edge. It's like the lottery. You might as well just give them your money before you walk in the door.
Right.
In-game betting is a bigger house edge, and the quickest and easiest way to see that is just look at the juice on it, right? The regular point spread tonight, you know, at plus 3.5, minus 3.5 is minus 110 either way. You start getting to the in-game lines, even if it's close later and it's still 3.5, it's going to be like minus 130 each way or minus 120 each way. It's, 2-3 times more juice house edge built in. So instead of having to hit 53% to break even, now you have to hit 56, 57% just to break even. The bigger problem, though, with in-game betting, as we've talked about for recreational players, is just money management. That's a problem to start with in general. And, all of a sudden, if you're making 3 or 4 in-game bets, you've all of a sudden got 3 or 4 times more exposure on the same outcome than you normally would have making the get into the bet pregame. Instead of 1 unit, now you're risking 4. We talk about that with the Super Bowl props, too. So people have to be very careful not to get over their heads. And you have to have a bigger edge when you make the bet because the house edge is bigger.
And I usually don't mess with that stuff at all, but I got to tell you, I got to be honest with you. 5 minutes to go, Oilers at the Avalanche in that crazy 8-6 game. 5 minutes to go in the game, it's 7-5 Avalanche. They're offering the Oilers plus 2.5 at minus 120. Okay, so you can get the Oilers plus 2.5 in a 7-5 game. And I'm watching the clock go down, and I'm watching the odds go up as the clock is going down. And finally, I went ahead and just pressed the ticket on it. Just a little, put $60 on it. Just a little thing on there. And sure enough, the Oilers score. Now it's a 1-goal game. But yet you could get – it was a 7-6 game. You could get the Oilers to win the game plus 775. And, and you felt good about now getting 2.5 in a 1-goal game. There's going to be an empty netter probably at the end, but that's probably only one empty netter. They Lance get the empty netter at 20 seconds to go in the game, and it's 8-6, and the Oilers put their goaltender back in the game, and it pays off the plus 2.5. So there does seem to be little things sometimes, if you're really sharp and you keep an eye on it, that makes sense, that they're almost giving it away.
Oh, I totally agree. And, yeah, that's not to say there's not advantages with in-game betting, but what you want to do is kind of what you're hinting at there with the plus 700 is you first of all want to try to look for adjusted line value, right? That was a situation where you're getting 7 times what it was pregame and they're only down by 1. And you also you want to pick your spots. And perfect example in the NBA, I've seen quite often here in the playoffs, we've seen a lot of teams go on runs or hit 3 or 4 threes in a row and then they take a commercial break. That usually resets, So Golden State, for example, I think was up by like 20-some in that Dallas game, and Dallas went on that run. They cut it to like 9. And the in-game line all of a sudden was 10.5. And this is a team that had just been up by 23 a few moments earlier. They went to a timeout, and they came back and they got the double-digit lead. That's when you want to play these games, is when you're getting an adjusted line based on one team having a recent hot streak and a run of maybe 3 or 4 straight shots. But even then, you got to pick your spots. But, yeah, there's definitely edges where you have a 60, 65% edge, and it's worth laying that extra juice. Where you have to be careful, though, is you don't want to just be playing every other possession and then all of a sudden have 20 bets. But, yeah, keep in mind that the odds are set basically by automated programs, algorithms. And so if you're watching the game live, you can use that human intuition still to find some good spots. Yeah, and it's interesting because like every 30 seconds that goes by, you see it jump. The odds to win jump. And in a game like that where the scoring was coming fast and furious, I think, well, you know what, plus 775. It looks like I'm going to make the $60 on the other bet. You throw you roll that over into this plus 775 and try to make a big hit and see if it happens. Which is fun to do with little amounts like that. Steve Merrill with us from ProSportsInfo.com. By the way, Steve, like big NASCAR fan, enjoys NASCAR. Does not recommend NASCAR necessarily to his clients, but there are opportunities in it. And I ended up going 2-2 this last week, but almost had a big win on that deal with the NASCAR. And I don't know what's happened. Whatever they figured something out. I don't know if it's the paper thin tires. I don't know if it's the car itself, but somehow these mile-and-a-half tracks all of a sudden have gone from being so boring and so predictable to being really fun to watch. And, hopefully people will start taking notice. NASCAR's audiences are going up. Their live audience is going up as well, the TV audience. But it's been amazing how racy these tracks have been outside of Texas. Yeah. Yeah, as I say, unfortunately, they don't have a Netflix show yet because Formula One's up 40 to 50% viewership each of the past 2 years.
And you can't pass.
I'm hoping that doesn't.
You can't pass.
I'm hoping it doesn't hurt NASCAR because I still don't watch it, Tom. I still can't get into the open wheel stuff.
No.
I'm sure you kind of feel the same way. It's just not competitive.
No, I mean, in Monaco, well, now they're actually talking about what are they going to do with that track. They've been going to the same place for 100 years there, and the track is tiny. The cars are getting bigger and bigger, and we're sitting there watching that thing, and I'm like, well, how the hell do you pass? Then you have what happened in Spain the week before where they ordered, the team ordered the guy who was leading the race to pull over and let the teammate win because of the points race that was going on, and he had a better chance to win the season-long championship. And they told him, well, we're going to let you race for a win in another race. I mean, it was crazy stuff going on there, but I love doing those little ones that are in-race type things. And I think I had Ryan Blaney and Kurt Busch was funny as hell. I had Ryan and Blaney. I had Blaney over Kurt Busch, and they wrecked together. And when they wrecked together, Blaney was one spot in front of Busch when they crashed. And I just kept worrying, in the old days, you come back out like a jalopy and turn some laps to move up in the standings. They don't let you do that anymore. So the fact that they had wrecked together became a win for Ryan Blaney. The flip side was Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch. Larson, it looked like that was going to be a win, and he ends up being involved in a late race incident. And Joey Logano to win the whole thing at plus 1,100. Or no, I'm sorry, to be in the top three at plus 1,100. Top three. And he's running, second. They did the last restart. He's on the front row for that last restart, and he ends up getting boat raced out there. So, I mean, it's fun, but the racing's been really competitive.
Yeah, well, I mean, you talk about, one of the reasons we don't do as much NASCAR as far as releasing plays now is tracks like Talladega, and Daytona are completely random. And now we see that with Atlanta, of course, because it's basically like a restrictor plate track now. And Charlotte is probably, now that Atlanta really isn't a true intermediate anymore, Charlotte is probably the fastest mile and a half remaining. And that almost looked like a restrictor plate race, right, with the big crashes, as you're saying, and the way it finished on the final turn of the final lap of the final overtime. And, yeah, Logano, I went back and watched it several times. Logano really should have cleared that accident. He got barely clipped in the tail, the left fender or the right fender at the tail right at the end there. Otherwise, he does finish top three. Hamlin is fifth on the final turn and ends up winning the race. Yeah. Just completely random. Hamlin's got 2 wins now at Richmond, my home track, and that one. He barely led a lap at Richmond. He wasn't top 10 in any other race the first 2 months, and he gets the win again. So he's a guy to be very cautious with. With that said, though, Gibbs Racing's looked good with Kyle Busch still. Busch was in a great position to win that race several times. Kyle Larson said it was the worst race he was ever having halfway through, and then he was going to win it until it went to overtime. It was a really random track. This week it's interesting. They're at Gateway where they run other series, but they've never run the Cup Series in St. Louis. And this is a 1 1/4 mile, very flat track. It's long, kind of like Pocono, so you're going to want to look at Pocono. New Hampshire and Phoenix. The flat tracks is where I think this one will be similar. Obviously, first guys that jump to my mind are like guys like Truex Jr., who really hasn't done much this season, but has been very good on these types of tracks. Harvick also hasn't done much, but he's been fantastic, especially at Phoenix. Hamlin has been good on these, so we'll see if he picks it up a bit. Logano's been good as well. And then, of course, Kyle Larson's always dangerous. But, yeah, it's been different guys this year. And Chase Briscoe looked good earlier this year on these type of tracks, and he was actually also in a position to win. He and Larson were running 1-2 until he wrecked, which forced the overtime. So a lot of guys you can look at this week.
I had Truex and Chase Elliott, and I thought I was in trouble with that one. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, this isn't going to work out good. Elliott was running up front, but then he spun out on his own and hit the wall, and then that became an easy win for Truex in that matchup. But doing the matchups, it's interesting. It adds a little juice to it because not only are you watching the front of the race, you're watching within the race. It is amazing to me, though, how many of the matchups that they are able to put together with cars that are running right next to each other. And they just never seem to be separate. They're like within 2 or 3 cars of each other. And it's like, what made them pick those two guys that are running right on top of each other? They're pretty good at that.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's like any sport, right? Whether it's the in-game betting or these playoff lines. I mean, the odds makers are sharp as any handicappers out there. And that's what people always think, I'm going to beat the odds maker. You're not beating the odds maker. What you're doing is you're trying to beat the betting market, right? And, one of the problems, unfortunately, with NASCAR is that it's a small betting market, and the sharp money does somewhat dictate it. And so even if the odds makers make a mistake, which they don't do often, sharp bettors like myself and you that follow NASCAR, we're going to correct it. So that's one of the reasons I've tailed away from releasing it to my clients in recent years. It's just not a lot of value anymore like there was 15, 20 years ago when I started with it. With that said, though, they do still set the matchups basically based on parity, and they maybe change them a little bit based on practice times, but not as much as they should. So really keep an eye on those practice sessions. And I've been following them, Tom, now that we have practice again, which we didn't have for a couple of years with COVID. It's been pretty accurate. Like the guys that do really well at the track usually are pretty fast in practice, and that's something to keep an eye on.
How are we doing in baseball? Now we're at that third poll, that Memorial Day poll. Even though we started a week late, we get a pretty good sense. This seems like there's a lot of haves and have-nots. It almost feels like there are like 7 or 8 teams in each league that are competing for the 6 spots, and that maybe 4 or 5 of the spots are already kind of locked up, and they're going to be on cruise control. But overall, are you getting a pretty good feel for baseball?
Yeah, and I think we, as you said, we have enough games sample size now where we can start to really look at these teams. Even with that said, though, we have to be a little careful. Still, if you look at the 3 best teams in baseball record-wise, actually, you have the top 4, really, the Mets and Dodgers, and then the Yankees, Astros. Yankees have played 14 of their 49 games against winning teams. Houston's played 16 of their 51. But you look at the Dodgers, 33-17. They've played only 7 games against winning teams this year. It's insane. They've played 43 games against losing teams. And you look at the Mets, they've played 14 of their 52 against winning teams. So a little misleading because obviously they're beating teams, so they're giving them worse records. But like the Yankees are a good example. They've played like at least 7 or 9 games against the Orioles, who are probably the worst team in baseball, at least in the American League. So we still have to be a little cautious with the records, but I still think, we're looking at a possible, Subway Series, and also the Angels are looking really good this year behind the Astros. They're better than they were last year with Trout healthy. So the LA teams, the New York teams are looking pretty tough. And we're getting to that point now where we can start to see the haves and the have-nots. It's a little bit of an expanded playoff this year. An extra team from each league is going to make it. I think that's a great concept. The one team that started slow that's picking it up a bit now is the Toronto Blue Jays. They were like a preseason favorite for a lot. They were kind of second or third in the division. They're now only 5 games behind the Yankees. They've won 8 out of 10. They've won 7 straight, and they've played 24 of their 49 games against winning teams. So the Blue Jays might have some value still to be a winner in that division.
Yeah, and you got to watch those in-game parlays that they like to throw at you as well. I know, like for this afternoon's game, the makeup game from last night between the Yankees and the Angels, Aaron Judge, Anthony Rizzo, DJ LeMahieu, and Joey Gallo. They all get a hit. It's plus 375. But Joey Gallo got 10% of his hits for the entire season 2 nights ago when he had 2 hits. He had 20 hits on the whole season, and he had 2 that night. So be careful with those types of things as well. The one thing that makes me a little crazy is with pitchers only going 5 or 6 innings now, it makes it a little bit different, especially on totals. It used to be you kind of get a little better feel for it because the pitcher would be in their 7 or 8 innings if it was a stud. You know what I mean? You got Nestor Cortez and Shohei Ohtani going today in about 25 minutes between the Angels and the Yankees in a game that was supposed to be played last night. And you say, well, that looked like it could be an under or whatever. But those guys might be out of there in the 5th or 6th inning, and now you're relying totally on the bullpen, and you got too many different guys coming out to really kind of get a feel for it, in my opinion, sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing, if you're really handicapping based on the starting pitchers, you definitely can look at the first 5 innings because, as you're saying, you kind of get a true handicap of the starters because they usually go into the 6th inning, and that's the whole purpose, basically, of first 5 lines. The problem is, with over-unders especially, as you're saying, is that if it's a 7 or 8, you're talking about like a 3.5 or 4 for 5 innings, right? And it's because they take that bullpen randomness out. This total is usually a little lower, so you really kind of need a good start by both guys. If they have one bad inning, you're in trouble, like an under 3.5 or under 4. What I like to look at is the full game still, and I do factor in bullpens. Obviously, you don't know exactly who's going to pitch on a daily basis, but you can kind of look at the night before and know who's available and who's not. And a lot of times you'll see games in which teams have used 4 or 5 relievers each, and there's a little bit of value to the over in the next game for that reason. So I still think there's some spots to pick, and I still think odds makers in general set the lines too much based on starting pitchers because, as you said, they go about half a game now. And I do think that's a way you can find an edge, especially if you look at current momentum offensively. Teams go through slumps. They go through hot streaks during 162 games hitting the ball. And I still think the odds makers don't fully incorporate that into their odds process.
I had the Yankees on Tuesday night, and it was an easy win. Let's give them a freebie, okay? You threw the Yankees out there last night. Now they're playing that game today, same pitching matchup. Do you stick with that? I mean, if that was something you had thrown out to your clients, are they to stick with that, or do you would recommend it again on the day the game is actually played if it was a postponed game?
It depends because there again, see the bullpens. That's where a first 5 inning probably not a big difference, but with the bullpen action and whatnot, it gets a little dicey, right? Because then everyone's got an extra day of rest. So I think if you like an under, for example, you probably still like it. If you like an over, you might want to be a little more cautious. Or if you maybe were playing against the team because they were short in the bullpen, that reset, the extra day off can make a difference, and sometimes it's not a play anymore.
Yeah, all right, I get it. All right, tell them how they can get a pick and tell them how they can use your service because I know you're doing well.
Yeah, baseball hit 67% for the month of May on best bets. NBA's been strong for over a year now. We're up a tremendous amount in NBA, both playoffs and regular season. And I've got a strong game 1 best bet tonight, also 2 baseball best bets. So it's a big Thursday card. Anybody who would like to try it out for free, just email me and mention that you heard the show, steve@prosportsinfo.com. You can also watch the baseball show this afternoon on wagertalk.com, and I'll also be doing the NBA show tomorrow on Friday on wagertalk.com, wagertalk TV on YouTube. And once again, free play, email me, mention the show, steve@prosportsinfo.com.
There you go, Steve Merrill. Steve, I appreciate you so much, man. Keep rolling.
Thanks, son. Always great.
Steve Merrill. All right, let's grab a break. 12 now is the over-under for the Braves and the Rockies tonight in Colorado. Is that still Coors Field? Do they still call that thing Coors Field over there in Colorado? I mean, it's a, it's the runs that have been scored at that place are just out of control. All right, we'll get a break. We'll come back and wrap it up next. This is the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Atlanta Braves are back on the field, and this reloaded roster is fired up to defend their crown and run it back in 2022.
Pitch on the way to Ozzie. Get it out towards right.
The Braves' road trip out west continues as
Valley Equipment Rental, 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area. Plus, all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Madison Academy football. Stop into the University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com to view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see you in a Kia. Go Mustangs!
Of all the multitudinous manifestations that water can take, in oceans and ice cubes, in glaciers and streams, vapors and rain, double black diamonds, lap swims, and brains. Of all that water everywhere, only 0.5% is fresh water available for human use. That's why at Moen, we're innovating to save 1 trillion gallons of water by 2030. Discover Mission Moen at moen.com.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
I'm attorney. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're in office, I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us, too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
All the press conferences.
It's our mental energy, I would say. Spend less time complaining about, when I was going to get an opportunity. Just spend more time training and working towards.
Plus, all of the rat poison is served up right here.
It's yummy.
On 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Final segment of the Thom Abraham Show here on Throwback Thursday in the Doghouse. Reminding you once again, tomorrow you will find us at Bubby's. All right, we will be at Bubby's Diner, Whitesburg, right off of the South Parkway there, and we'll be out there doing the show from 10 until noon tomorrow. I'm not going to hang around much afterwards because the old dog and my mom are on their way. They're on their way now to Tennessee for my son's wedding. All right? We got a wedding to start the summer. My son getting married up on a hill in Swanee, and then the reception's in Nashville on Sunday. And then at the end of the summer, my daughter's getting married. And that one is going to be in Nashville as well, and that one's one of these wedding of the century deals. I mean, that thing's going to be – one is small and cool, and the other is huge and annoying and cool. It's my daughter, but, I mean – it's going to be crazy.
Hey, you're going to be getting the best of both worlds, both a big and a small wedding.
Yes, a big wedding and a little wedding. It's going to be an annoying summer. Just going to get these people married off. I don't think Danny. I don't know what's going to happen with Danny, but I do think Captain Cool. I think Captain Cool will be married within 18 months. I'll be totally honest with you.
You think it'll be within 18?
I think within months. I think that'll go down within 18 months.
I think it's going to be a little shorter. I'm going to say it's within 15.
I'll kick your ass if it's 15 months. Better not be. Somehow a young kid got past security. And did he get Steve Moulton's in studio? How did the kid get right up to Nick Saban?
He got through security, reportedly, and evidently this was not a kid. This was a high school coach in the state of Louisiana.
I thought it was a high school kid was what the story was. I thought that what I had seen. So it's a high school coach?
That's what Coach. Well, you want to hear?
Yeah, let's hear what he said. Let's hear what he said.
Of course, now that you want this,
yes,
yeah.
I know about the offer. I saw that yesterday, but
stories I thought was hilarious. When Outkick the coverage this morning, a high school LSU fan somehow finds his way through security at SEC Media Days and tells you he'll give you $5,000 if you be the LSU coach. Can you tell us about that?
It was.
Is that how it went?
He made an offer for me to retire.
Oh.
Or come back to LSU, one or the other. But I think LSU has a good coach, and they have a lot of good players, so we've had a lot of competitive games with them, and I'm sure there's be no different in the future when it comes to competition versus LSU.
All right, so it didn't happen in Destin. It happened at SEC Media Days, and he said a high school LSU fan. That's what he said. He said a high school LSU fan. So I think it's a high school kid. I don't think it was a high school coach. I think it was a high school kid. Isn't that what he said? A high school.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, high school LSU fan got through and asked Nick Saban if
$5,000 is not much of an offer to retire.
Enough.
If you add a couple of zeros on it,
yeah,
I mean, come on, you're creeping towards 71. I mean,
well, no, he's got to be 70 first, isn't he? He's got to be 70 he's got to be 70 before he gets to 71. I think he's 70
right now, Tom.
I don't think so. I think he's 69.
He'll be 71 on Halloween.
Really?
Yes.
I thought he was going to be 70 on Halloween.
That would have been last Halloween.
Year he turned 70 on Halloween? Wow.
Yes.
Very interesting article on The Athletic about Ed Orgeron. And basically how Ed Orgeron lost track of who he was. And the headline is Ed Orgeron's fall from celebrated son of Louisiana to LSU coaching pariah. And it talks about some of the salacious stuff that Ed Orgeron got himself into after they won the national championship in 2019. All right. This one's in the hopper. Come see us at Bubby's. The only thing that's better than Football Friday in the Doghouse is Football Friday in the Doghouse from Bubby's. So come see us there. In the meantime, Chuck Oliver's coming up next, then Paul Feinbaum, then The Drive from Baumhauer's on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
The only thing better than Football Friday in the Doghouse is Football Friday on location at Bubby's Diner. That's right. We'll be out at Bubby's from 10 till noon. Well, honestly, I'll be there a little bit earlier than that because I'm going to try and get them to do a special waffle for me. That's right. One with an egg over hard and some of that bacon jam on it. And, of course, I got to have the sugar-free syrup as well. Come on out and join me 10 to noon on Friday at Bubby's Diner on Whitesburg Drive right off the South Parkway.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. When we say local, we mean local. local, not Birmingham.
Loser.
We are the only sports talk station in Huntsville. It's all right here. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You've got a magical glow.
It's time to talk college football with the reigning king of college football, Chuck Oliver, on Southern Sports Today.
It appears the SEC schedule is going to stay the same for now. And there are two reasons that really is okay. Chuck Oliver Show on a Thursday. Hope everybody who's out yonder listening, appreciate you coming here for your college football conversation. The SEC spring meetings wrapping up sort of as we speak, I guess, down in Destin and end of the week. And remember, we said back Monday when everybody had shown up, they just started. This business meeting. This is let's submit proposals and we'll have votes and we're going to make changes to everything. Do you remember University of Georgia for I think it was 9 straight SEC spring meetings. Greg McGarity, which the AD at Georgia, would show up in Destin and go, "Hi, we'd like to talk about a uniform drug policy for the conference." And all the other ADs who did not have as tough a drug policy, except for Kentucky and Mississippi State. Those are the only 3 that if you failed one marijuana test, you missed playing time. Everybody else was like, "No, it works for us. We're good." Well, no, we're happy where we sit right now. So that's just what you do. You can bring up proposals and they get voted on and then things change or they don't. Well, it appears that the SEC schedule for now was going to stay the same. And I told you there are 2 reasons that's okay. Yeah, those 2 reasons, Oklahoma and Texas. Now, beyond ditching divisions, already done. No real substantive change is likely to be decided, not this week. And since no changes would be implemented until OU and Texas are actually in the conference playing a conference schedule, the conference deciding now, folks, wouldn't that be very not SEC-like for them to decide now for literally no reason? Wasn't it 15 minutes ago? We were all lauding Sankey for recognizing, hey, pandemic, we have some runway. Let's use the runway. Wasn't that, 2 summers ago? Him looking at the Big Ten going, what are you doing, man? We still got a month. Using the runway? They got runway here. There is nothing on the calendar right now saying, hey, you got to decide by Friday. They got to decide by Friday a year from now. So let's use that. Understand that probably what's going on right now is we're just very curious and we get excited. It's like, do you know what we get excited for? Nothing thing. We get excited watching the NFL commissioner stand behind a podium and read names off a card. We can't get enough of it. I tune in for a schedule release party. I already knew who we were playing. I just get told the order. Are you kidding me? I invest 2 hours of my time in that? Yeah. So we want to know, what's the schedule going to be like once they join? So more directly to this point, it's not just how does the SEC schedule once Texas and Oklahoma are in the conference. It's when are Texas and OU in the conference, as currently arranged for. The 2 join the SEC for the 2025 season. They would play this season in their current conference, 23-24. Ahead of the 25 season, welcome to the SEC. You'd think, well, get them in as soon as possible, maybe right now. That's what everybody else does when switching conferences. Did you see the headlines? It's decided with the AAC. We all saw that, right? The AAC has 3 schools leaving for the Big 12, Cincinnati, Memphis, and UCF. And you have to stay until 2025 and then give us $12 million. All right, well, how about we give you $18 million and we leave right now? That just happened. There are a lot of models how that has worked. Hell, y'all remember TCU being in the Big East? Oh, you don't? Yeah, there's a reason. Because they never were. Well, why'd you bring it up? TCU paid an exit fee to leave a conference it never joined. That's not made up. TCU was, I think, leaving the Mountain West and going to the Big East, but before they could actually play out their final season in the Mountain West, a better conference